Good day, everyone. Let me introduce myself. I am Johnny J. Yao Jr. from Cebu Normal University, and I am here to talk about my research about aging expectations. Specifically, the title of my research is Aging Expectations, Elderly versus Youthful Seniors. And just like the different colors illustrated in this slide, we will explore the complex and unique issues surrounding this phenomenon. Let me start with this famous quote by the boxing legend Muhammad Ali. And he says, "Age is whatever you think it is. You are as old as you think you are." So, what are the thoughts and questions that come to your mind after listening and reading the quote? The quote suggests that how we age is influenced by our perspectives towards aging and being old. So, does this mean if we have optimistic views of aging, this will automatically translate to successful aging? And would the opposite be true as well? If you think being old entails deterioration and disease, it will come true. But what shapes these aging expectations? How do these beliefs influence the lives of older adults? And how do people with positive and negative aging expectations differ? These are some of the questions that prompted me to conduct this research. Now, when we talk about aging, there are common characteristics that we need to consider. First, it is a highly personalized process. This is because people will have different and unique life experiences. There may be some similarities, but taken as a whole, it will be unique for each person. Next is that aging is also a complex process, and just like any other human experience, it involves different dimensions and in various contexts. So, for example, we do not only look into the physical aspects of aging, but we also look into other dimensions such as psychological or social. And lastly, just like other social processes, it is accompanied by numerous stereotypes across cultures. This includes my setting, the Filipino culture. Now, the problem with stereotypes is that when we follow them, people then disregard the differences between individuals, which leads to believing things about people that might not be true. And the bigger problem of aging stereotypes is that it is mainly negative. They portray growing old as a period of poor physical and mental functioning. Older adults are dependent, they have poor health, and they are lonely. It may be true to some, but definitely not true to all. These stereotypes are based on a person's aging expectations, which is usually categorized into negative and positive expectations, meaning if a person thinks that aging is associated with problems, such as illnesses, then it is categorized as negative. On the other hand, if a person does not associate aging with problems, or if the person thinks that they can still be happy in old age, then it is categorized as positive. Studies have shown that expectations of aging will subsequently influence the person's health and wellness. It is a very complex phenomenon that has significant implications on older people's health and wellness. So, the purpose of this study explored the various sources by which Filipino older adults attribute and reshape aging expectations. So how did I do my study? I used a multiple case study design to explore the various sources of aging expectations and to compare the cases of older adults who have negative and positive aging expectations. Participants were community-dwelling older adults aged 60 years old during the time of interview and are currently residing in a highly urbanized city in the Philippines. I transcribe all the interviews and analyze the data using a cross-case analysis, meaning I analyze each case and later on analyze across different cases. This method enabled me to compare the commonalities and differences in the processes, activities, and events regarding aging expectations. How did I get the needed data for this research? After getting technical and ethical approval, I started to recruit participants for the study, and to fit the cases needed for the study, I use a standardized questionnaire, the expectations regarding aging, which measures their level of aging expectations. This would represent older adults who have negative or positive aging expectations. And out of 95 participants, a total of 8 informants, garnering the 4 highest and the 4 lowest scores on the standardized questionnaires, were interviewed. Based on the analysis of the data, 3 major themes with corresponding sub-themes were generated. These describe the sources which shape and reshape the older adults' aging expectations, as well as comparisons of older adults having positive and negative aging expectations. For the first theme, attributions of aging expectations, the informant's perception of what it is to be old and what they expect when one becomes old are attributed to various sources. So we will talk about the 3 attributions. First is your personal attributions. The informant's expectations of aging here are based on their younger selves relative to their status now as being a senior citizen. All of them acknowledge that there are changes compared to when they were younger, and this does not only include physical changes but other changes like their capabilities. The next subtheme is your interpersonal attributions. Their expectations are also influenced by how other people view them as being older persons. Since all the informants interviewed were married and had children, the responses of their family members, especially their children, were main factors that have reshaped their expectations of aging. Some of their children would tell them to be more careful because they're now senior citizens. The last subtheme is your socio-cultural attributions. The different views, values, and systems in their community and society concerning older adults provide another source of how aging expectations are shaped. The informants' aging expectations are based on what they believe society views what it is like to be old. These stereotypes are either confirmed or disconfirmed as they experience the status of being senior citizens themselves. So these are the common sources that shape and reshape aging expectations. The second theme, Divergence and Harmony in Perspective, talks about the various perspectives between older adults who have positive and negative aging expectations. After analyzing the data, it appeared that those who had negative aging expectations considered themselves old due to their physical limitations. On the other hand, those informants who had positive aging expectations did not consider themselves as old, but did acknowledge their status of being a senior citizens because of their age. But they did not say that they were young, since the informants knew that they were already senior citizens. But there was an apparent preference to distance themselves from those who were considered by society's definition as old. Hence, there are 2 groups of seniors that emerge based on the analysis: the elderly seniors and the youthful seniors. There are certain similarities and differences between these two groups. All of the informants acknowledge that in old age, there are certainly physical changes when one becomes older. Those informants who have negative aging expectations already felt that they are old because they have chronic medical conditions, physical limitations, and changes in their physical appearance. They consider these changes as a normal part of being old. On the other hand, those informants who have positive aging expectations acknowledge that there are physical changes due to old age, but the major difference is that they do not consider that old age will lead to drastic limitations. They do have chronic illnesses, they do have physical declines, but they believe that it should not limit their activities. All of the informants felt that if they were considered as senior citizens, there were no major changes on how they think and the quality of the social relationships with other people, including their family and relatives. In that aspect, in their psychosocial expectations, they are similar. The last theme, Living and Aging, Life as a Senior Citizen, talks about the differences in the lifestyles of the two cases. All of the informants claim that there are certain adjustments in their lifestyle due to changes that they have experienced as older adults. These lifestyles are also influenced by their aging expectations. They say that being active in old age is important in order to find purpose and meaning, even with the physical changes and transitions in life. The main difference is that those who have negative aging expectations have highlighted the changes in the lifestyle due to their physical limitations and presence of medical conditions. These, in turn, would confirm these negative aging expectations. Furthermore, they would express concerns in managing these changes. On the other hand, those who have positive aging expectations acknowledge that they have illnesses and limitations, but everyone does not express worry about these. Instead, they emphasize how they are still able to manage even with these physical changes. They also believe that old age should not drastically limit their activities. These positive aging expectations may have influenced their current lifestyle as a senior citizen. Finally, based on the findings, I have derived this figure. The findings suggest that these aging expectations are attributed and reshaped by personal, interpersonal, and sociocultural sources. The findings also suggest that a person's aging expectations also influence their lifestyles when they are already older adults. There are studies which suggest that people who hold negative aging expectations underestimate their capacity to participate in physical activities, and as a consequence, they exhibit a more inactive lifestyle. On the other hand, having positive aging expectations are associated with better health outcomes. Also, several longitudinal studies propose that development of negative aging expectations are influenced by current health and changes in health. So when individuals experience health problems, the blame is on the problems due to aging rather than the lifestyles. Consequently, this will reinforce existing negative aging expectations and promote the development of more negative aging expectations. In this manner, a brutal cycle of worsening condition in old age would happen. In this study, the two cases mainly differed on how they were able to handle the changes due to their aging expectations. Those who had positive expectations were able to adapt amidst these changes compared to those who had negative expectations. Let us discuss some of the implications to practice and research. Based on the findings, it is recommended that non-government organizations or local government units promote activities that aim to educate the senior citizens about the differences with normal and abnormal changes in old age. Also, society, most especially the family members of the senior citizens, should be educated about the expected changes and common misconceptions in old age. With this, people will be more sensitive in approaching senior citizens. Family members should consider a balance between being protective but still maintaining independence as not to unduly limit the older adults' activities. Senior citizens should also maintain a positive outlook in life amidst the changes that they are experiencing. It is important for them to be aware of these changes so that they will be able to customize their activities according to their capabilities. Furthermore, it is important for senior citizens to engage in activities that are enjoyable and even try out new things so that they can still find meaning and purpose even in old age. Lastly, future researchers may explore the lived experiences of older adults who are institutionalized or those who have terminal illnesses or conditions. This could shed light to the aging expectations of older adults who may have unique experiences. Let me end this presentation by providing a synthesis in the form of a quote by Mark Twain, who says that age is an issue of mind over matter. If you don't mind, it doesn't matter. Finally, if you want to know more about this research, you may read the full article published in the qualitative report by following the link via the URL or the QR code. Thank you very much for listening and have a great day.